couldn't wait to go. I was excited. All right, school's back in session this week for more than 1 million New York City kids, and of course, not everybody's happy about it.
But you'll have a change of heart after picking up this new book, The Whisker Gang Has Fun at School, which is out tomorrow and written by one of New York's very own 9-and-a-half-year-old. Cannot forget the half. We have Jackson Dean McMillian joining us live this morning to tell us about the series. And of course, the very proud mom, Brooke Dean. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Jackson, are you ready to go back to school?
Not really.
Not really. So I guess you share some of how you feel about going to school in your books. What inspired the Whisker Gang? Like, who are they?
The Whisker Gang is when I was like 7, we saw a raccoon knock a trash can over, and I was like, who's gonna clean it up? And then I was like, maybe they should call their friends the Whisker Gang. And we kept seeing that same raccoon over and over again. And then we tried to make a book where they clean up the neighborhood, which is in this main book, The Whisker Gang.
That was your first one?
My first book.
So you're 9 years old.
And a half.
And I'm sorry, 9.5 years old. Now, how many books have you written?
6.
6, and the 6th one is coming out when?
Tomorrow's the 6th one. He actually finished his 7th book this week. So we haven't released that one yet, but we just finalized that one this week too.
Do you think having him write these books kind of helps with his own maybe anxiety, concerns, fears around school, maybe, you know, things that he deals with in his extracurricular activities?
Yeah, well, one of the books that he's written is The Whisker Gang Doesn't Like Bullies, and that was something that he was going through last year in his class. So that kind of helped him work through that, and he actually shared the book with the bully in his class, and now they're like really good friends. So.
What was his reaction?
He was like, wow.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
So now they're great friends.
Is English one of your favorite subjects?
No, I like science and social studies, because science I like space, and social studies I like learning about my history.
Okay, I'm a big space fan too. I like space.
So, Mama Brooke, how did you kind of help him along? Because since, you know, he likes obviously writing, how did you help him fine-tune that and really take his ideas and put them in a book? 6 books.
It was kind of tricky because I'm not a children's book writer, so extracting the ideas from his brain and putting them on paper. So we have like a whiteboard at home, and we would come up with different themes and create an outline, and then we would just put it together ourselves. He does have an editor that I send it to, and so she'll help fine-tune and polish everything. But that just helps it all come together. Like in my day-to-day, I'm an operations manager at Audible, so I take my mom hat off and I put my manager hat on, so it does help. But it's still tricky because it's children's books, which is new to me too, so we're like figuring it out together.
Now, a lot of people would look at the raccoon. I know when the raccoons were knocking over my can, there was nothing positive about it, but you found positives in that story. Do all of your stories have kind of a positive message?
All of these books, they like teach kids how to, like the bullies teach kids not to be a bully. They learn how to swim here. They teach Jax how to swim here. And they just do nice things to the neighborhood.
Yeah, I have a 4-year-old who's now learning how to swim, and you know he has some anxiety around that, so I definitely want to get that book for him. What's next for you, Jackson? What element of school and extracurricular kid life are you going to look to explore?
He's playing football now, so that's his new passion.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Wow, how do you find time to write? You like football and basketball, right?
I like football and basketball. I play for a football team in Queens, the Springfield Rifles.
Okay, and you still find time to write. That's cool.
Mama Brooke, any words of advice for parents out there, especially as we get ready to go back to school? How can you inspire this literacy imagination for kids? How did you help to kind of incubate that for Jackson?
I think it's helpful, especially if they like to read, to write something that they themselves want to read. So sometimes there's books that are out that are not out there that they would love to read. So why not create that book? But if there's anything that your child is interested in, I just say nurture it, whether it's writing, reading, sports, any extracurricular activity, anything he wants to do. We just try all the things and we see what sticks. And this happened to stick, so hopefully we keep going.
Well, 9.5 years old.
Impressive.
That is impressive. When I was 9.5 years old, I was just waiting on a ride to work.
A ride to work.
Yeah. So, congratulations.
Yes.
All right, and the Whisker Gang Has Fun at School. It's out tomorrow. You can purchase it on Amazon. You should get that in schools too.
Yes,
right?
yes. Congratulations, Jax, on a wonderful writing career, and I hope you kick butt going into 4th grade. I know you will.
That's right.
I know you will. Nice to meet you, Brooke.
And good luck on the football field too.
Yes.